let's just start standing up, okay? So we're gonna just start with a little breath that's gonna help us to get connected. And my name is Miss Lorelei, by the way. I sometimes forget to do that. So I'm Miss Lorelei and welcome to yoga. So we're gonna just start by doing a little breath that helps us to tune in, and it's a humming breath. So you can do it out loud or you can do it silently in your head if you don't wanna do it out loud. But what you do is take a big breath in through your nose if you can, and then hum as you breathe out. So we'll take a big breath in and then So sometimes that helps us to be able to shut out everything else that's going on and just be able to listen to our own breath and to our own bodies and what's going on. And so another way we can do that is to make a buzz sound instead. So we can, it's like a bee breath. It's called a bee breath. So we can try that one too if you guys want to. So you can just take a big breath in and then buzz, bzzz. Maybe let's do 2 more of those. So you can hum or buzz, or you can do it silently in your head. So we'll do on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Breathe in. One more time. Breathe in. This time I'm gonna buzz. Buzz. So doing breath like that is just a great way to check in and start to notice what we're doing, what's going on. And then another thing that's great about yoga is it can let us know, do any of you ever have trouble focusing? Do you ever have trouble concentrating or focusing on what you're supposed to be doing? Do you ever feel like there's just like too much going on around you and you can't? Yeah, definitely. It's like, my friends are here and I'm supposed to be doing this, but it's a beautiful day outside and I just can't focus. There's too much going on. So yoga is really cool because it can help us to be able to find ways to focus. And it can also help us to know what's going on and how our bodies feel. So we're gonna play a little game, okay? So I want you guys to do 3 yoga forms with me. And I'm gonna talk about each one just a little bit and teach you how to do it. And then we'll play a little game with them, okay? So the first one we're gonna do is Ragdoll, right? So I just want you to stand up tall and then let your whole upper body hang down really, really, really low. You can bend your knees, you can let your arms hang, just let them be really floppy. So this might be how our body feels if we're feeling really tired. So you might sway a little bit side to side, or you might like try to walk a little bit on your mat, like stepping forward and backwards, and see how it feels to try to move when you're floppy, when your body is just really floppy and tired. And then we can come back up. And another one we can do is frog. So you can either just stay standing if that's better for you, or you can take a squat and come down and put your hands down on your mat or the floor, and you can do some jumps, some froggy jumps. So we can just take some big jumps and ribbit like a frog, ribbit, 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 ribbit. So this is how our body might feel if it's really, really hyper, if it's really active, right? So we can do some more hops, jump, jump. You can also do the standing up, jump, jump, jump. So frog jumps, that's how our body feels when we've got tons of energy, right? And then the last one that we can do is mountain. So this one, just having your feet on the floor beneath you. You might press into your feet a little bit and stand up really tall. And then maybe just look around a little bit, thinking about how a mountain would feel. Strong and tall, maybe really calm. Yeah. You could bring your arms overhead like the peak of a mountain, right? And touch your hands. Big, strong, tall mountain. All right, so that's the 3. So we had our ragdoll, our tired body, our hopping frog body, it's our hyper body, right? And then we have our strong mountain that's calm but strong, okay? So I'm gonna give you guys 10 seconds. So I'm gonna count to 10. And at the end of those 10 seconds, I want you guys to think about which one of those your body feels like right now. Does it feel like the mountain, the hopping frog, or the ragdoll? And then at the end of 10, when I get to 10, I want you to not look around at your friends or neighbors or anybody and just do whichever one of those your body feels like right now. Okay, so I'm gonna give you 10. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. I'm gonna move up so I can see you guys. Show me your form, which one is it? Oh my gosh, I see lots of hopping in one class. I see lots of mountains in the other class. I see hoppers. Yeah, so that's awesome. How cool is that? Great job, guys. Okay, so we're gonna come back to our mountain. Let's come back to our mountain. So now we know how we feel, right? And we can even do the same thing with our mind, because sometimes our mind feels like it's a hopping frog or a mountain or a ragdoll, yeah? Okay, so the great thing about yoga is that it can help us to move from either feeling like a ragdoll or feeling like a hopping frog to feeling like a strong, tall, calm mountain, yeah? So we're gonna do some forms that'll help us maybe to do that, okay? So we'll just start back in our mountain and then bring your arms overhead, take a deep breath in, and then you can fold all the way down like your ragdoll again and let your arms hang by your sides or down in front of you and take a few big breaths. You can breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, or in and out through your nose, whatever works good for you. And then we'll just put our hands down on the floor and come to our tabletop. So we have our hands down on the floor, our knees on the floor, under. And then we can take our toes and curl them under in the back and lift our knees and hips up and send our hips way up to the sky. Press back towards your legs like you're a dog stretching for the first time in the morning. Take a big stretch. Maybe lift one leg up like a dog tail and put it back down. Then you might lift the other leg up like another dog tail. I think you have two toes. And put it back down. And then we can walk our hands and feet together. Come back to your ragdoll and come all the way up and reach up high. And then come all the way, bring your hands all the way back down. Good job, guys. We'll do that a couple more times. So just getting the wiggles out and moving the energy around. Bringing arms up overhead and folding down and touching your toes maybe, if you can. And then you can bring your hands down, come down to your knees, curl your toes under, and then lift your knees and hips way up to the sky. Good job. And then lift one leg up like a dog, wag your tail, and lift the other leg up like a dog, wag your tail. And then we can bring both feet up, hands and feet together, and then come all the way back up, reaching up high. Nice job, awesome. So another one we can do is we can do a chair. So it's like we're sitting in a chair, but we're not actually sitting in a chair. So you can just bring your hands down to your legs and sit like halfway down and look forward. So one thing that can help us focus by doing yoga is to find a spot to look at. So we look at that spot and try to not move our eyes anywhere else. So find a spot, if you can, to look at and just see if you can keep your eyes there, focused on that one spot. Good job, guys. If you're getting tired, you can stand up again, and then maybe you come back down into your chair. And you can move back and forth, you could stand up, and then come back down, or you could just stay there and see if you can find your spot to stare at. Maybe for 3, 2, 1. And then back up. Another thing that can help us to focus a lot is when we try to balance, because you have to really focus to balance. So find your spot again, and this time we'll take our chair a little bit. We're sitting down in our chair and try to lift one leg up and maybe cross it over the other and see if you can balance on one leg. And you could have your toes touching down if you needed to. And then find your spot again. This time I'm going to count all the way to 10. Let's see if we can hold it here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, and then standing back up. Good job. Who can hold it for 10? Some of us, huh? It's fine if you can't. Just doing our best, right? So we'll try. See if you can remember which leg you balanced on. We'll try it on the other side. So you can come down to your chair, sitting down a little bit, your hands on your legs, and then pick the other foot up and cross it over. So you can cross your ankles or you can cross it up higher, and maybe put your toes on the floor. And then see if we can count all the way to 10. You guys can count out loud with me. Let's see if we can do it together. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good job. All right, guys. So let's bring our arms back over overhead. Take a big stretch. Come back down to our ragdoll. Good. And then we can bring our hands down, bring your knees down, find your table, curl your toes under and lift your hips up to the sky. Again, our dog stretch. You can lift your legs up again if you want to wag your dog tail. You can just keep them down this time. Either one's totally fine. And then we'll just bring our hands and feet back together. Maybe touch your toes or your legs somewhere. And this time, let's be like a ragdoll rolling up really slowly. So you might bend your knees and keep your arms really heavy and your head really heavy. Then roll up really slowly. Awesome, good job. So then we can step our feet nice and wide. Take our arms out wide like a shooting star. We have all 5 of our points. So this can help us to just feel really strong, reaching out in all directions. Think about yourself like a star shining brightly. You might take a big breath in and let your arms come down. And then a big breath out, let your arms come back up again. Good job, guys. Maybe one more time, let your arms come down. And then shining brightly, arms back up, reaching up for the sky. Okay. Another one we can do that's really cool that helps us to feel really strong and maybe really calm. So we can keep our legs right where they are, nice and wide, and then turn your toes toward one side of the room. So your toes on one leg are going to be pointed in one direction, and the toes on the other foot are pointed in the other direction. Yeah, and then we can bend our front knee and maybe bring your arms out wide. So this is like a surfer. So think about yourself like a surfer. If you have a yoga mat, you're like a surfer on your surfboard. Yeah? Or you can just imagine your surfboard. So we're riding the waves, and you might move your front leg, you might bend it and straighten it, bend it and straighten like a surfer, riding the waves. Maybe move your upper body like you're balancing, trying to catch the waves. Yeah, good job, guys. And you might straighten your front leg and reach up like you're gonna touch the top of a wave that's coming overhead. Yeah. And then you might bring both arms back out, and then you might go the other direction and lean forward and see if you can touch the top of the wave on the other side, or touch the sky, whatever you're reaching for. And then come back to your surfer, riding the waves. Awesome, guys. And then we can do that on the other side, so we can change sides. So maybe the foot that's facing to the one side of the room, turn that one back, and then turn the other one out to face the other side of the room. So now you're facing a different direction, a little bit different perspective. You can bring your arms out again, and you can bend your knee and straighten, bend and straighten. few times. You can also ride the waves like you're surfer riding the waves. And maybe reach up and touch the top of a wave on one side. And then you might reach up and touch the top of the wave on the other side. And then come back. Good job. And then we can turn both of our toes to face the same direction again. Face forward. And then we can be a ragdoll again with our legs nice and wide. So we can go all the way down and touch the ground. Maybe, or touch somewhere, or just as far as you can go. Doesn't matter where. And then take 3 big breaths here. 2, 3, and then come all the way back up. Good. You can step our feet together. Bring your arms up overhead. And then fold all the way down like our ragdoll again. Bring your hands down. Bring your knees down. Find your tabletop. Curl your toes under and lift your hips. Find your dog pose. Yeah, good job, guys. So anytime that you need a rest, it's okay. If you don't go through all the moves, if you need to take a break, it's totally fine. If you're in your dog, you might bring one leg up again. Wag your tail. Maybe this time you wag it a little bit further side to side. And then switch legs. Other leg up and side to side. And then we can bring hands and feet together. And come all the way back up, reach up overhead. Good. So we can do a little bit more with balance. Now that our bodies are warmed up and we're maybe a little bit more focused, so we can try to balance again. So this one's called airplane. What you do is step 1 foot forward, and then you see if you can, like an airplane, lift off by lifting your back toes. So maybe your toes need to stay down. That's totally fine. Or maybe your toes lift up. That's fine too. And then you can bring your arms out to the sides like airplane wings. So you could be like an airplane, or maybe imagine you're like a bird flying through the air, and see if you can pick your spot in front of you so you don't fall over. And this time we'll just count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I counted slowly that time. Huh? That's not fair, is it? That's okay. Good job, guys. Then you can come back to your mountain. Maybe reach up really tall. Make your mountain shape. And then we can try that on the other side. So see if you feel balanced, if you feel like you can do it, step the other foot forward. And then try to lift up your back toes. So you have to make all your weight come onto that front leg. And see if you can lift up your back toes. You might just kind of touch them up and down. And you might bring your arms out like your wings. And see if you can breathe for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Awesome job, guys. And then come back to your mountain. Reach up overhead again. And back down. Okay, so lots of balance stuff. Let's do one more movement and then we'll try one last balance, okay? So let's go arms overhead, fold forward, maybe touch your toes, bring your hands down to the mat, your knees down, curl your toes under, lift your hips and knees, coming to your upside down feet or your dog. You can lift your legs again if you want to, wag your tail. Or you can just stay right here. Good job. And then walking your hands and feet back together. And come all the way up. And back to your mountain. So this will be the last balance that we try, if you want to try it again. So this one's a little bit challenging. So find your spot that you're looking at and see if you can stare at that spot the whole time. So for this one, we're going to bring one arm up. And then the opposite leg, so tap your opposite leg. We're gonna try to lift that foot up behind us. And you might grab your foot, or you might just have your foot lifted. And this is our flamingo pose. Flamingos love to stand around on one leg. So we're like a flamingo. And pick your spot to look at and see if we can get just 3 this time. 1, 2, 3. Awesome job, guys. And then maybe just shake your body a little bit, shake everything out, shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. And we can try the other side. So remember which one you did. I had this hand up, I had this leg up. So I'm gonna switch arms, this arm up. I'm gonna tap my opposite leg, and then I'm gonna lift my foot up, see if I can grab it. Oh, I can't grab it today, that's okay. I'm just gonna hold it up there and see if we can balance. Oh, I forgot to stare at my spot. Let me see, I'll find my spot. And then let's go 1, 2, 3. And then come back to your mountain one more time. You can bring your arms up, overhead, take a big breath in, and then all the way down. Maybe touch your toes. And then let's step our feet back, come to your tabletop. And this time, let's stay here, and we'll do a little bit of movement here in our table, or we can call this our cat shape. So we're like a kitty cat, and sometimes we're a happy kitty cat and we're looking around at everything. Maybe you look around at everything around you. Just see what you see. And then you might, if you see something that you don't like, you might become a mad cat and round your back and hiss like a mad cat.
I'll pretend that I saw a dog.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Pretend you see a dog. So we can lift up, look around, and then maybe we see that mean dog coming, and we get mad and we round our backs and big hiss. I don't think I really sound like a cat, but that's okay. Maybe yours sounded better than mine. Awesome, guys. So from here, this time, instead of coming to our dog, we're gonna go all the way down to our bellies. Down to your belly. Take a little rest. We did a lot of movement. We're gonna start to slow down a little bit. So you can keep moving if you like to. You can keep rocking maybe side to side, or you can be really still for a few breaths. And just notice how you're feeling. And then another one that we can do to stretch our backs really good, it feels really good, is just to bring our elbows right under our shoulders and our hands forward so that we're like a sphinx. So I don't know if you know what a sphinx is, but a sphinx is a half human, half lion. It's kind of a strange, weird, made-up creature. So we can be like a sphinx with our lion bodies out behind us and our human bodies lifted up in front, looking out at everything. And this is a really great place to just look around you and notice everything you see around you. Maybe for the count of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Awesome, guys. Now we can come back to our tabletop. And you can keep your knees really close together. You could bring them a little bit wider and see if you can sit your hips back down on your feet and curl up in a little ball. So we're like a rock curling up in a ball. You might bring your arms behind you so you're folded up like a rock in a ball. And just take a few deep breaths in and out here. All right, then we can come to our seat. So coming to our seat and bring the bottoms of your feet together. And it's okay if your knees are up like mine, that's totally fine. And we'll come to our butterfly. So you can think about a butterfly, strong and calm and landed. And then you might flap your butterfly wings gently, just a little bit. Little flaps for your butterfly wings. And maybe you fold forward like you're a butterfly smelling a flower and take a big breath, smelling the flower. Maybe one more time. and then come all the way back up. Awesome job. Great. You can take one more. So if you're in your butterfly with your feet together, what you can do is switch one of your legs out so that your foot comes behind you. So then you can just move your other foot to the top of that leg. And it's okay, whatever that happened, however that landed for you, it's totally fine. As long as you're just sitting up. And then we can just take a little twist to one side. So we're just gonna turn toward the front knee and look to the side. So this is called our deer shape. So it's like a deer resting, but also looking around, being aware of everything that's going on around us. So maybe look and see, maybe picture or look at 3 things that you can see right around you. And then come back to the center, and then we can switch our legs out. So we can bring that one back to where it was, the one that was behind you, bring it back to where it was and switch it out and bring the other one behind. And then take a little turn to the other side. And maybe you notice 3 things that you can see on this side. Maybe it's the color of something or the shape or something that's your favorite thing in your classroom or your home. Okay, job, guys, and then we'll come back. All right, so before we close out today, I want to give you guys just a couple of minutes to come back to our game that we did at the beginning and see if you remember what our 3 shapes were that help us to decide how we feel and which one of those you feel like now. So if you want to and play the little game again, I'll stand back up just for a minute. And I'll count to 10 again. And while you're here, think about which one of those your body feels like now. So I'll remind you again, the first one was our Ragdoll, kind of sleepy. The second one was our frog, happy and bouncy. And the third one was our mountain, tall and strong and calm. So I'm gonna count to 10. Think about how you feel right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Go, show me which one you are. We're all so bouncy, awesome. There's some mountains in some classes though. Good job, guys, all right. Yeah, so it's just such a great way to help us to figure out how we're feeling. And so if you're still feeling really bouncy, then you might need to do more movement, but that's all the movement we have time for today. So we're gonna just come back down to our seats, or you could lie down if you want to. Either one is totally fine. And we'll do just a little bit of check-in with how we're feeling and maybe some things that are in our classroom or our room that are around us to help us to really just be able to calm ourselves now and focus. So once you get comfortable, whether you're sitting or lying down, you can keep your eyes open and maybe take some really deep breaths in and out. Maybe a couple more times. Again, like you're that butterfly smelling the flower. And then just taking a minute, we're just gonna do 3 things that we hear, 2 things that we smell, and 1 thing that, sorry, I did that wrong. 3 things that we see, 2 things that we hear, and 1 thing that we smell. Okay, so just taking a minute to look around your room. So see if you can be really still to do this. If you can't, it's okay. You can keep moving too. Maybe you're rocking. See if you can find 3 things that you see. You might say them to yourself. You might see your desk, walls, or your bed, depending on where you are. 3 things that you see. And then see if you can find two things that you hear. Maybe it's something in the room, maybe it's something outside the room, maybe it's your own breathing, somebody else there with you, two things that you hear. And then last one, see if you can find one thing that you smell. And if you don't smell anything, it's totally fine. Maybe just imagine your favorite smell. All right, guys. So hopefully that lets you get a little bit of movement out and maybe be able to focus a little bit today. But at least you got to move a little bit, even if it doesn't. So thank you so much for joining in and for being here. If you guys want to stay resting, you absolutely can. Or you can come back up and say bye and thanks, and we'll see you next time.